as I was saying, I said that love, is that glue that puts everything together. Our existence, every fiber of our cell, said that puts everything together that keeps the universe running in and out. And I said that there was an experiment that was conducted a few years back. They took 10 children, and the 5 of them, all they did was give them food and change their nappies and left them there. The other 5, they fed them, gave them food, played with them, spent time with them, showed them love, that care extra. Unfortunately, after a few weeks, they stopped the experiment too late, and the other 5 whom they were just changing nappies and just change nappy feed and put down all passed away. So that shows you that the core of our existence is love. Love is that's why the Bible said the love covers a multitude of sin. If you're looking at anything and if you're judging anything, if you're confused about anything, any situation, and you think on that thing or judge that thing through the lens of love or through love, you'll make the right decision. No matter what the situation is. I believe that no matter what the situation is, if you sit back and judge it, look at it from the love perspective, we'll make the right decision. So even as we come together again to share our thoughts, to share life, to share the word, I pray that one thing I always think on is more understanding into love. We can come here and share everything, but during the week, your own thoughts. What is God saying to you? What is the Spirit saying to you? The desire to get more revelation and more understanding into that word, that love helps us live a better life, helps us make right choices, helps us have better relationships with all around us, irrespective of how bad a relationship is. And I believe last week we were talking about relationship. No matter how bad the relationship is, if you judge it through the lens of love, if you look at it from the love perspective, you always make the right decision. So I just want us, even as we share, we should ponder on this during the week, ponder on our how we deal with things through the end of love, true love. So I pray for more understanding, even as we gather. Pray for wisdom. Don't know. Somebody said this week that we shouldn't pray for wisdom. I heard that somewhere, that we are wisdom. So yes, which is true. We are wisdom. So all you have to do is be in tune with wisdom. We are everything. We are love. All we have to do is be in tune with it, tune to that perspective. Yeah. So that's all I'll have to share for this opening prayer. Amen. Yes, I'm done.
Right. Thank you very much. And a lovely Sunday. Glorious Sunday to all of us. I'm not sure there is any of us here who has already gone past Sunday or who is not already into Sunday yet. So permit me to say that. And it's always glorious. Sundays, every day is special. Sunday is particularly special because aside we can catch up individually. I do catch up with ourselves because of the week, in one way, shape, or form. But at least this forum gives or presents the opportunity for us to gather in one space and share fellowship. That's what makes it that extra special for me. And I believe it is the same for you as well. We were looking at the art of relationship last week, which is still a spillover of the vibrant frequency of love. And it became necessary as conversations evolved for us to specifically look at the area of relationship. Just when we were wrapping up last week's, we had a bit of an invasion. I believe Marie was on the floor. She was making some very interesting submissions. I don't know if you're in the space, can you, and that is provided I can refresh you on what you were saying, but provided you remember what you were saying, can you wrap that up for us? Because you got cut. I had to cut it because you had a bit of an invasion. So if you want to wrap that up, because that's a vital point that leads into what I am going to be touching on today. So if you are able to, please do. And just when I mentioned her name, she disappeared. Okay. Well, I know she's going to rejoin at some point. But Rayben, it's a privilege to have you here, brother. We've not spoken in a week. I'll do well to touch base with you this week.
No worries, sir. My doors are always open to you, so
I know.
I'm ever ready.
I know.
All right, sir. Great to be here.
Emma, are you there? Ako. If you're unable to speak, go just drop me a message in the chat. But like, whilst we for her, so what? Share your thoughts on where we were, what you heard last week. Anyone? Jay, were you on last week? Anyone? Anyone at all?
Yes.
Are you talking, Jay?
Yeah, I was on last week.
Okay. Was there anything in particular that struck you from what we were discussing last week? Oh, it's been a week, so you've forgotten.
I know we're talking about a relationship, isn't it?
What was happened to your camera?
Can't you see me? I'm on. No, my camera is on.
No, it's just black.
Hey.
Okay, yeah. Now I can see it. Yeah. We're talking about relationship. What did you say about relationship?
Oh. Let me say love like separate the different relationships that we have. And we talked about agape, filial.
Are you sure?
And he said love is love.
That was the week before.
Really? Hey.
Will Eben come to the rescue?
Hey, last week, with if my memory serves me right, our dear sister was giving some point, and I was loving it, and I was even trying to encourage her to kind of like expand on it.
Yeah.
It was about, oh man, this one there. I need some lawyer. I'm not even gonna pull anything out. I'm so sorry. I cannot.
The thing, when we listen to it, it goes straight into our spirit, you see. So it takes 2 weeks for it to come back.
I think the issue was the interruption made the whole message kind of like, bro, for no cry, I can't say this scrambled. I can't say scrambled. The interaction was
continue because we didn't finish last week's message. That's why we
did
cannot.
not. Yeah, we did
so
not.
That's why I said that. But it appears she's if she's not available, then it's fine. I can carry on because she was leading into something that I thought is useful for us to catch up on. Okay, so she ended off talking about it because I had made a statement about attachments, and she brought in the narrative or the analogy of the umbilical cord, okay, and how we all diverse attachments, but the whole essence is to transcend those attachments. And that is where I'm hoping that we kind of lead with today's and explore that a bit more. I will try to make good. See, you remember now, right? But my intention is to let's have a bit of an interaction. Okay, I'll throw in a few things in here and have a bit of an interaction, and then we get to talk more.
I'm gonna go off for a bit if you don't mind, please.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah,
that's fine. And we will have a bit of an interaction and see where we go with this. So I did say last week that friendship, or if you want to call it relationship, is one of the purer or the purer form of the expression of love that is available to us, or that we have. And I'll say that in its highest, in its truest, in its purest form, it's one wherein nothing is demanded, nothing is asked, nothing, no conditions, where parties involved are just pleased for giving out their very best. And it forms the crucible or the space where the parties involved give the love beings that they are its very best expression. Okay? Primarily, that is what it is. I don't know if we agree. If or any of us, if we agree with this, when I say that whenever we make a choice, okay, let me ask the question this way, and for better clarity, do we choose our relationships, or our relationships are chosen for us, or our relationships choose us? Which is which?
It's a little bit of both. Relationship, family relationship, on a surface level, we can say we do not choose it. But there are other teachings that says whenever we are coming into this world, we kind of know, or we make the selection what family we want to be born in and all that. So I don't want to get into the weeds of that, but for a general perspective, we will say family relationships, we do not choose that. But friendship, colleagues, business partners, 90% of the time we choose, we have a say in that.
Any other thoughts on that?
Depends which type of relationship.
Come again, Jay.
It depends on which type of relationship. Like you said,
Mhm.
you don't really get to choose your family relationship, but you get to choose your friends and other people you meet.
Okay. Thank you. Any more?
I have a little bit to add on to what you said previously before asking this question.
Mm-hmm.
I think that statement stands true. For instance, where you said relationship offers us the opportunity to show the purest state of love. Let's say for friendship, colleagues, you do not have any kind of like ties to, so then you don't tend to have any biases as to, okay, this is my cousin, this is my brother, this is my nephew, I have to love them. But relationship will give you that stage to extend that love that you have for your kids, for your wife, for your mother, to an outsider who you may not be related to by blood. So then that statement that you said, that's my understanding of that. And I think if I'm on the right track, then it makes sense to demonstrate that love in this purest state where there's no requirement because we are related by blood or any kind of expectations. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Any more? Okay. So to add on to that, the truth is, oh, sorry. Hello, Ma. Ma. You keep.
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, you keep popping in and out, so I don't know what's up with you. Were you hearing what?
I keep
hearing what
popping
we
in
said?
and out because I go back and forth and the internet disconnects. That's why.
Are you stable now?
Yeah.
Right. So what I was saying was last week, you were making a submission that got truncated because we got invaded. And I was saying that that's where I was leading to with So it was a good intro to what I wanted us to deal with today. But I just thought, for the benefit of others, if you could wrap that up. That's what I've been saying all the while. Or you forgotten what you're saying?
Totally. I think I was saying something about the image or conception we have about how things ought to
let me
be,
refresh
and that is what
we said that. Let me just refresh you. So
okay.
you have said that, and you started to veer off into talking about the fact that all of us are born with certain remits of attachment, and you made the analogy of the umbilical cord, and stated, if I'm right, because that's where I was leading into, that the purpose also of our evolution is to transcend these forms and these attachments, so that we, the love beings that we are, would have its very best expressions. So that is where we were. Do you now remember what you're saying?
Yeah, thank you. I think you already summed everything up, haven't you? You've
But
already
you were
said
talking.
everything.
You were talking. So yeah, I just want to give you that benefit so that I finish, because while Kobreben, I recall, was saying that he was interested in what you're saying and he wanted to hear more. So that's why So if you can carry on that tangent, then
I think
got like two questions that I'm going to throw at us to have a think about. Then we can wrap up from it. So yeah, so go for it.
We need to come to a place of understanding that every situation that can seem to be opposing to us in terms of our sense of how a relationship or a love is supposed to present itself. It all boils down to something that you have to come to that understanding that what is evolving out of this situation. Because like the last time, the lady was like, so don't we experience a broken heart? It's not that. That's not what is being presented here. The whole process is for you to come to a place of knowing. And if you are going to know it through a resistant process, and that makes you feel like, oh my God, what is happening here? It's okay, because you are an evolving being. You are not a static being. You are not plastic. You're gonna get that feeling of hurt, whatever. But it's not here to kill you or to harm you. It's here for you to evolve further in and expand further and further, because you are infinite, right? You are infinite. But because of the image we have in our head, or what we've been born into a world where we've been taught to see things in a certain way. When we go through these situations that seem to be opposing our image or our perception of how things ought to be, that is when we experience, that the hurt, the pain, the whatever. So I was saying that what if we see it like this? Okay, love is evolving in its own expression. Don't give an image to it. And if you understand yourself as a being, and that you are not static, being means process. So you are going through a process. And that is where you ought to come to that understanding that, you know what, okay, this is what is happening. And I've always thought love to be this. Okay, now I'm experiencing this as a result of that lab, whatever you want to call it. That is the process where you are evolving. Remember, the chicken can never come out unless the shell is broken. The oyster cannot get the pearl unless it goes through that process of really painful evolution. And you see, a pearl comes out. So, like I use the word curriculum, every situation is that learning process where you are going to evolve as an infinite being, unending, not static. You're not plastic. So every time, every situation presents itself, sit back and ask yourself, This is what I'm seeing. What is beyond this? This is what I'm experiencing. How infinite am I? How can this help me evolve to the next level? I think that's a good question, right? And then you would see that you will experience it, but it will bring up the best. That seed is still popping and popping and popping and popping. It will never end. Okay. So that's where I was going with that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank
What a
you.
wonderful submission. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, thank you. It's an opinion for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I think it was Oshu who said this, that the moment love becomes demand, which in other words attachment, it then loses its essence, which is liberty, and becomes a prison. Okay. The moment we make it about us, or we make it about neediness, let me use that word, then it has destroyed its very fabric, or it tends to destroy its very fabric of freedom. How can a bird fly in the sky when it's in a cage? Yes, linking that to what you said, man. It's more dynamic than static. How can you find a flamboyant expression when you are crippled, when you are grounded, when you are immobilized? How? Gets in the way of expression. You hear this phrase being thrown around a lot when people say that, oh, being around this person and the way they come across, it makes you feel like you're walking on eggshells. You hear that expression a lot, don't you? Particularly when people are saying they're being careful with people because they don't feel for the freedom of being with or being around it. Talking about choosing relationships, and that's it's an interesting point that you do make, Brother Eben. I believe it was Nanan Pedu who sang the song Enoa. You know, Enoa is one of my favorite high life tunes ever, and it captures a deeply spiritual concept, which many, I'm not sure how many have paid attention to that. And it sums up that every child tells the story of children as they come into the world. They get the choice of choosing their destiny, choosing their course, choosing their parents, and everything else that follows it. But we on the other side, we see it as they have rather been chosen. Okay. It's a beautiful story. I'll find a link and drop it for you to listen if you haven't listened. I'm sure you've heard the song, heard it play, but you've not really paid attention to the story. It's beautiful, and it does throw in certain perspectives about whether we choose our relationships or whether our relationship chooses us. But to a large extent, I would say we choose our relationship. To a large extent, I would say that. And the truth is, the choice of relationship is ultimately a choice of the course of life. Is it something that we agree with? That a choice of relationship is ultimately a choice of a life course. So let's broaden relationship up. It's not just marital, every relationship of a sort. So Paul expands that, and you say, evil communication corrupts good manners. See? A choice of relationship ultimately dictates a choice of a certain course of life. And a renowned philosopher would say, for instance, when it comes to marriage, that if, in quotes, a bad marriage doesn't destroy you, it makes a philosopher out of you. Choice of relationship dictating a course of life. So we are choosing per day, they ultimately, because think about it, as I said, let's keep to that, as in it's forming the ship in which we give the love being we are its very best expression. So whichever ship we choose dictates or defines more or less the limits or the remits of the expression that we are finding and we are given. Does that make sense? I'm not sure if I'm making sense. Yeah. Exactly. Mm-hmm. See? So if one finds themselves in a relationship, what makes it important for them to transcend neediness? Are you getting into a relationship for fear of not being lonely? Are you being around people for the sake of not wanting to be lonely? Or you being around people, you being in a community, you being around a person for the pure cause of sharing the best you that you have come to identify and know with them? Being around someone who excites the overflow of the you or of the fullness that you are? Or is it because you feel empty and then you are reaching to a force, a being outside of yourself to fill that void? There's something that we ought to think about and play with in our minds. Mm-hmm. And I've said this, or I agree. I was saying this to Emma the last time. In every relationship, you can talk of it. You can talk of it of two partners, even if there are 10,000 people in it. It's still a relationship of two, because it's you and an ecosystem outside of you. Okay. In that sense, even though the ecosystem outside of you ultimately mirrors and reflects what's on your inside. So it's you, me, and the third entity in every individual, in every relationship is us. So let me throw some light on that. And we're doing a lot of play. I want us to do a bit of play today. It's a triangle. So two partners, whether father, mother, father, daughter, brother, sister, you work colleagues, whatever. It's two partners. And the third entity is that entity which is the merger of the two. Okay? And I have realized, or I have identified, the quality of that merger or that merged entity is what ultimately dictates the quality of the relationship. Because the third force or the merged entity is truthfully the shared awareness. And that is what will guide, dictate, direct the course of whatever the relationship is. And it does happen that often we put a lot of effort into me, you put a lot of effort into you, and we haven't done that doesn't necessarily mean we have put that investment into the third entity, which is you, me combined in that shared awareness. And that is what ultimately decides, in quotes, the success or the failure of the relationship. So you can be great individuals apart. And the truth is, I say this, that for the most part, relationships do reinforce our individuality more than our union. It reinforces our individuality more than our union. So you could be that awesome character, another person, that awesome character, and if there is not a mutual investment into that shared union or that shared awareness or that shared entity, you can call it a yoga entity, then it will feel as if there is a disjoint. And I've come to accept that once each and everyone is pouring into that space of that united entity, and one each and everyone is pouring into that space with the dedication of putting in and giving it, or what was it called? Letting it have all of its givenness, it is impossible for the relationship to feel stifled. Impossible. Absolutely impossible. The two-ness, say the two shall be one flesh. See, I'm not building these constructs out of space. It is backed by some spiritual principles, but I'm just not quoting scriptures, that's all. So that two-ness brings us into oneness, and then that oneness dances yet as two with a common vibration, or aspiring to dance as two with a common vibration. And once that state is achieved and maintained, absolutely bliss, absolutely divine, where one breathes in and the other breathes out, and there is none occasion for offense. Why do I say that? My father gives this analogy, and I love it. I love it. He says that everything that is natural, everything that is normal, should never be a reason for offense. An example: if you're walking, or if a child is walking and they fall, or when we fall and we fall to the ground, are you going to get upset that force of gravity has taken effect? Will you? It's a question. Am I here by myself? Hello?
No.
Hi.
Okay. So what I'm saying is, if I fall and I fall to the ground, is it sensible for me to get upset that I fell and I fell to the ground because force of gravity is having effect? Is it sensible?
No, you
It's
didn't
not.
even think about
No.
it.
It's not, because that is what
At that
that
time, we don't even know.
that is what's supposed to happen. It's just taking effect. It's normal for you to fall and fall to the ground because gravity is acting in your direction. And I can get upset with force of gravity, can I? So Daddy will say that when you live with someone and you understand them, nothing they do should ever surprise you in the area of what has been their normalcy. In Chi, he will say it this way: "Don't you be sana so hunwa, be bien who are here say or one. Be bien where you say oh yeah, it's me a show if who of Nipana for what they are, and I mean what who senya or tia." Growing up, I struggled to understand it, but the longer I live, the more that truth is getting reinforced, because I see its recurrence and its play, or its semblances of it all the time, and it's helping me. I've said this: we are all at different places, or we are all at different parts in our journey and our evolution. And the place that I've been for a while, even though in recent times I'm beginning to understand that I'm experiencing another shift, is how do I make the most of every relationship that is offered me or that I choose? How do I ensure that people are around me, everyone who happens to find themselves within the sphere of my influence or the sphere of my engagement, it's getting the very best of me and the very best out of me? How do I ensure, or how am I ensuring that whoever finds themselves within my space per time is getting nothing but the very best of me? That is where my awareness is at the moment, or has been for some time. The question is there any way I can make my experience, what is contained in a moment that someone shares with me, or I share with another, what's contained in it? When I appear in a space, are the words which get issued, "Oh, glad to see you," or "happy to see you go"? What's contained in a moment shared with me and spent with me? How do I make that moment rich? How do I make that moment memorable? How do I make that moment cherished? How do I make that moment pleasant? How am I being a more pleasant version of the best that I see myself evolving into? Because ultimately, when it's all stripped, how many scriptures I know doesn't matter. How many scriptures I can reel off and quote doesn't matter. I've said this a few times. When it's all said and done, what matters? What I've learned, or how I've learned, how I lived, how I laughed, and how I loved. See? So then I agree with Paul when he says that if I could speak with the tongues of angels, and love is not vibrating through my being, and love is not having its best expression through me, I'm like, what? a noisy cymbal. It's nothing. And Mr. Dyer adds to that, and he says, a folk won't care how much you know until they know how much you care. That's true. People will forget what you tell them. They will forget the knowledge you pass to them, but hardly will forget how you made them feel. Whether the feeling is justified or not. Important. I'll ask a question. And this is a genuine question. It's a genuine scenario. Someone shared with me. So it's being a father, or has been brought up by a father for 36 years. Been brought up by a father for 36 years, only to find out after 36 years of her existence that who she thought had always been her father wasn't. That she's angry with her mom, thinking that she's lived a lie. She finds out that she has siblings that she's only getting to know recently, and she feels like her whole world has come to an end, or her whole world has been turned upside down, feeling resentment on the inside and struggling to deal with how to even relate with the father who has always been there, and the mom feeling betrayed and disappointed. And I had the occasion of having a chat. Situations like this reinforces how important these things that we share in here, Sunday in, Sunday out, and in the course of the week are. What do you think? If it was you, what would you do?
I'm thinking of how difficult it would be for the mom to bear the secret all by herself, and the challenge of her breaking the news to her. I think that's, yeah, she has that. She's allowed to be angry. That's okay too, if that's what she's feeling at the moment. I mean, that's what she's feeling, because of, she feels betrayed, she feels all these things, and so she's feeling a sense of, oh my god, what about now? She needs to establish a new relationship with the new father. But like we've been saying here, it
The
all
funny
depends.
part of it is, let me, I even forgot this detail. So accepting who the real father, finding out who the real father is, even throws in another dimension of her cultural and racial background, because she didn't even know that she was another race. She didn't even know. Carry on.
Yeah, so now she's see, that's the thing. Like I knowing this, that the father that I have, and I know is my father, is not, and I have a friend who's also experiencing all this, and now she's not talking to the mom. And I'm like, Have you considered why? Maybe the question is, why didn't your mom tell you these questions will come up, and what did she say? Obviously, if we want to bring it back to context, what are the circumstances that led to mom not telling her that this is not your father and this is your father? Maybe the father who has been away and now is showing up as whatever was she telling her, didn't avail himself as such. And somebody availed himself and said, you know what, a father is a father, regardless of the biological whatever, this one was around and blah, blah, blah. So it's a lot of talking that needs to go on with mom and daughter to explore the reasons why mom felt reluctant to come up and say, this is not your father and this is your father. Now she's another race and all that. The question is, what has race got to do with anything? Depends on where the person and what she understands herself to be. Does it limit her? Discovering that she's another race, she's a guy, she's an ever, she's whatever. Does it change anything for her? You see? So it, like I'm saying, I for one, I don't know how I will feel because I'm not in her shoes right now. But for the feelings of anger, she
Well,
cannot
she's
suppress it.
actually she's actually feeling that the life that she's lived for the past 36 years has been a lie in her mind.
Well, exactly, in the mind, the image, like I always say, we've all been born into somebodyness. So you've been born to be what? You are a father now. Every stage of your life, you are being somebody. You are a father, you are a student, you are this, you are that. So in her mind, she's a gun. That's the attachment she has. Now, oh, now I have to change the image. I'm an Ashanti. All these are images. All these are cultural attachments, right? But let's go to the basic ground of being. Who is she? She's nothing. She just is. See, let's strip all these apart. Let's strip it all. What does that bring you? The basic, the pulse of life that is breathing you right now is not different from that pulse that has been breathing you before you discovered that you are a guy and you are not a tree. You get what I mean? So that basic ground, like the same ground that is hosting the valley, is the same ground that is hosting the mountain. They are just different compositions, but they are hosted by the same ground of being. So if she can strip these off, and then the attachments, you see that she's losing those attachments. And now she can take it back again, of course. And now she has to regenerate the new understanding of, or the new cultural whatever of being a guy and now going back. But it doesn't stop her from being who she is. The social conventions or social attachment, yes, I understand. She has to now redo or realign herself again. But if you get to that understanding that it doesn't change the fact that I am, maybe I'm attaching to a guy, I am a guy, but now I'm not. But I am is always there, meaning the basis of who you are. The being is always who you are. And if we can come to this understanding, who are you really? Before your mother and father birth you, who are you before you let out your first breath? Who are you before all this guy attachment came in? All this social attachment came in. Who are you? Has it changed? No, it hasn't. It hasn't.
Yeah. Any other opinion on that?
Hallelujah.
Yes, sir.
Amen.
God bless you. God bless you, Mr. Mary. I think this particular scenario that you just said, I see it to be a classical example of what you talked about last week about relationship, the distinct difference between relationship and love. In a sense that the person has had a relationship, and in that relationship with the father that she thinks is her father, she has employed the love aspect that she is her being as love in that relationship. And this new person who has turned up to be her dad, which she did not know about, she hasn't got any clue about the man. She has got no relationship with the person. And so in her mind, she thinks she loves this man more or she loves this man, she doesn't love this man. So when as Sister Mary is saying, she doesn't really understand what is happening to her. But if she comes to understand that, it makes no difference. It's love. She loves this person she's not known before. She only needs to build a relationship. And as you were saying, I was just thinking this to myself, Red, you know me. I don't have any relationship with my father. I didn't have any. Now I'm beginning to. Because my mom is pestering me now. I didn't have any relationship. And I always say that as a man, I know him. I don't hate him. But before I would say that I don't love him, I don't hate him, because there's nothing. I see him as somebody passing by. But I had a stepdad that I so much love. I had a relationship with. What is the difference? And then I decided that this man that is my real dad, I don't call him. He calls me, I don't pick. I've got nothing to talk to him about. Because and those sort of. And now recent time, my mom calls me and says, your dad called me asking, you need to call him. Before it was my mother who was saying, this man, if he comes back, now she's saying, your dad called me, you need to call her, you need to call him. He says he called you, don't pick. And she's been pestering me. And since they started saying that, now I'm there, I begin to think of him. I call my mom, is he there? Is he there? How is he doing? And I call my other brothers that I don't have any relationship with. I happen to get their number. How is your dad doing? That's how I don't say, how's our dad doing? How's your dad doing? In a bit to find out how he is doing. Now I'm beginning to establish a relationship with him. Now my understanding is, I've now realized that it is I love him. I cannot say I don't love him because I don't have a relationship, but the relationship wasn't there. I don't have any relationship with him. So now this girl finds herself in that situation. She's confusing love with relationship. It is true. She'll be confused. She'll be in a state of, pain or whatever it is. She's known one person. She's had all her life, best part of her life, with this man, and all of a sudden somebody turns up that I'm your dad, of whom he has no idea. He has no relationship with. So it lies on the relationship. But when we begin to understand what we are talking about now as love to be, a being in motion, she will have nothing to worry about. She can start a relationship with a person and employ that love that is her being in that relationship, and everything will be all right. The aspect of you being an Ewe and now you realize that you are a guy, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, rightly, as Sister Mary has said. The only thing that probably would have mattered is if the dad was not what to do, and then they come that the dad is Bill Gates or Dangote, and you say that I've missed all the best part of my life, my dad being Dangote. That one me cry, baby. But but because you want to enjoy some money. But putting that aside, and then if it's just about the person not being in the space of the new man, it's painful because you want to go to your, all the things that you did with the old man, you wish it had been your real dad. But the question then comes in, what is a real dad? Well, we have defined certain things. It's a real dad because, she should be in a place, as we are talking about, of understanding first who she is, that her being is love. Relationship doesn't end. So she cannot end that relationship with a new man with the old man. But with the new man, the same way relationship can be built. And employ that same love that she employed in her previous relationship with the other father in this relationship, and still see this man in the same light as she sees the old man. There shouldn't be any confusion. But I can understand the pain and the confusion and the state that she will be in. Because I personally have been there before. Like I was telling you, I have a dad who I have no business to do with. And I had a stepfather that I love so much that, I'll take a bullet for. Unfortunately, he's passed on. And I'm beginning to build a relationship with this man. And I'm beginning to employ that love, though it's not coming as it should, but I'm realizing that it can happen. It's a challenging situation, but there's nothing to worry about. She only has to understand her being as love in motion. She doesn't even need to go into the nitty-gritties of relationship aspect between your mother and your father. That's got nothing to do with you. Why the man was not in your space to help your mother out, why they divorced, why they did not marry. That shouldn't come between you and the man's relationship or how you feel towards the man, or the love you want to show towards the man. That should even come in. So I think that if the girl is in the right space, or or with the right people to speak to and bring her awareness to what we are talking about, it shouldn't be something difficult for her to get through. That's my point, right?
It's
To me, I think the father has missed out a lot. Most of the time, it's the father who misses out on the opportunity to express his fatherliness, right? So, like Pastor K, you said, your dad missed out on enjoying you as part of himself, right? And it's the same thing. The girl should be, if the I don't know how she's now trying to rebuild a relationship with her real dad, but how fortunate is she to have two fathers?
It is. It is.
This is life in abundance. And everybody who say have one father, you have two. Oh wow, that's wonderful.
have about
So
5.
you see, and that's wonderful. So let's see. This is like Pastor Sam says something like it's all about perspective. You can see it from different sides, and all from which different side that will help her to make reasonable, throw reasonable judgment or whatever over all the situation, and she can relate to both fathers. You see, and also it depends on the other father and how he's trying to rekindle or rebuild the relationship, right? But you can tell that the one that she always known has been her father maybe has availed himself so much that the relationship is much stronger. It's easier for them. And now the new one has to come back and try and make it happen. She just came as her own being through another man. Remember, none of our parents own us. We are on our own journey. See, your parents were used as a conduit for you to show up, but you chose them to show up this way, and that is what we have to understand. Like I said, the ground of being is one. This is how you channeled it to come, and so you come. You came. Maybe he's not supposed to be in your life. That's fine. If he showed up this time, this is the time he shows up. That's also good. You just have to know that it's going to be painful, but that one too will fizzle off if you see it from this perspective.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And it couldn't have been put any better by the pair of you. So the truth is, I say this. Let me ask this question: is life linear, or is it cyclic?
It's cyclic. But you see, we've been brought up to see it as linear, and that's what causes the problem.
Good. And the moment we understand that it's cyclic, it fixes a lot of issues. I'm bringing this in because of something that man said, and I get asked this a lot. Oh, I've been with this guy for 4 years. Where is this relationship going? I'm like, where do you want the relationship to go? Where do you want it to go? You see?
Because it's linear, they've got an end. It must end somewhere.
Exactly.
It must end with marriage.
It has started somewhere, and it needs to go somewhere. It needs to end somewhere. The relationship it will always be where it is.
Because you are somebody, you need to always be somebody. So I'm a girlfriend, now I have to be a wife. Don't you get it?
You see, it's so there's day and the truth is the universe doesn't lie. Nature doesn't lie. There's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and it's not infinity. Monday comes again. Day, night, day, night, day, night. Yes, let's not be tricked. You see, I was saying something to someone the last time. I was sharing this with her, and it was like, no, Sam, it's not true. But okay, so how come we are in the year what was it called? 2024, and it's not 2013. And I'm like, how do you know that we are not in 2013? If not for someone telling you that this is how the date has got to be written.
Exactly. Can he go and see the line of equator? These are all concepts. They are not real.
They're concepts.
Exactly.
They are just concepts. We got this so that someone can develop calendars and sell and make money.
And maybe we can organize our social lives better, but these are
time
not
so that someone can sell clocks, as Einstein says.
Exactly.
You know, someone wants to sell watches. Okay, let's create time. That people can get something they can tell the time. They can tell the time with. Watch business. Okay. You see, once you get that into your head, that where you want to be is where you've always been, everything changes. You can see it as a journey too. And gladly, as you said, what if? I'm just saying peradventure. The experience that she's had, I just said, look back in your life, the time that you spend with the supposed father who is not your real father. I don't even like using those words anymore. The father who is not supposedly your real father. I say this funnily, okay? I was having a chat with Akusia yesterday, and she said something, and I'm like, that's an interesting point. And basically, what I said was, I was just talking about the fact that there's no human who has entered who enters this space, okay, without the entry point of a womb. Even though now we can put children in test tubes and whatever. It's like, but how about those who have cesarean section? They enter this space without a womb. You see, but and I just laugh and I said that truthfully, yes, they might not have come. They might not have come through that exit point, but the point is they were contained in that space, so there's still no getting away with. Still no getting away with. Test tube babies and whatever. Yes, they will have to. They would have to simulate. They will have to simulate the conditions of a womb for life to be able to support them to come that way. So either way, it is still the case. Okay. So the moment we stop to think of it in that sense, we get freed of the tensions and the anxiety and the pain and everything else that kind of attends it. And answer very simply, look at it. Do you have any regrets whatsoever in your upbringing? Do you feel like you've missed out on anything in your development? And she said no. So I'm like, what confidence or what guarantees do you have that your life would have been better off had it not been this man who you've known as a father all this while? What makes you think that you would have had a better, or your life would have been better in any way? You don't know. We do not know. There have been children who have got very rich fathers who will still abandon them. You do not know. My mantra, whatever needs to happen is whatever that has happened. What never needs to happen is whatever that is happening. Whatever needs to happen is whatever that will happen. Life is just being life. And ours is to align with the flow of life rather than run against. Oh, my video is going funny. What's happening there, Kay? I honestly don't know what's happening there. Definitely.
She texted you back. Janice texted you back.
No. Can we just...
No, can't do it.
Mate, that's weird, you know. But okay, talk. Or you can talk because I honestly don't know what's happening here. Right.
Yeah, I mean, whatever you're saying, it's. I think it's spot on. It's something that I've always believed, and it's something that, especially I in particular, who have been in such a situation, I always say that. So, how would my life been if I had grown up with my real dad? Would my life have been different? I like how my life is. It is what it is. I just like how my life is. I don't want to think about how my life was going to turn up if I had grown with my real father. That is not in my place to think about. My mind is, this is how I am, and I accept it as life. I accept it as you are saying. Whatever must happen has happened. And just a quick word to that person to the girl in that situation. And most of the time, like you say, we want to find out why it is so. I remember when my mom visited us here, and one of the days, my dad called her and said, "Oh, we're going to say, yeah, ask him to send me money." And then when he finished, my mom was furious. So this man is in the position to ask me for money, and when he abandoned, he was, and I laughed. I said, whatever happened between the two of you is none of my business. I don't care what happened between the two of you. You went to do your business and it didn't sell out for you. It's your business. I don't want to know how he abandoned you, or how I went to him and he didn't support me.
And you're getting dragged into you are getting dragged into fights that you haven't created.
Sometime that I went to see him, or he took me there, she took me to the mind, and I said that, I just laughed at her. That is a business. I don't want to know. I don't want to. It's not a situation that I want to dig into, because it will have no meaning or bearing to what I've become now. So I think that sometimes she might want to dig into it. Oh, why this? Why did you do this? Why were you not there? Why? It is true, but life is life. Whatever must happen has happened. And if you really believe life is not coincidence, it's not just happening. What must happen has happened. Before you were born, I knew you, as he said to Jeremiah. So he knows that it must happen like this. Unless you are saying that God did not know about it, or the Father of the universe is not aware. The universe is aware that it must happen like this. And so you need to accept it and then move, allow yourself to move with the flow of the universe. And trust me, you will have a good and right now, Sister Mary said, you have not missed out on anything that your dad has missed out on a lot. Your dad has missed out on a lot. And I always have an example, it took me 5 years to see us when I started joining us here, Rev. Anytime I started, there was some feeling that I can't explain, Rev. I've met for the first 5 years of my daughter, I had never seen my daughter for the first 5 years of her life. So I'm looking at my boy now. He will turn 2 next month. Now I'm enjoying him, and I do say to myself, hey, so all this, I couldn't have this when I said that. I couldn't have this boy would just come and then jump on me, laugh. It's beautiful. I don't know how to explain. It's beautiful. You've got 4, so you know how it is. It's beautiful. And anytime he does that, in my mind, I feel I didn't have this when I said that. I've missed out on a lot of things. So even you are at a better, I'm at a better, you are the ladies at a better position. Right? As Mr. Mike said, you've got 2 fathers. You've enjoyed from here. This person has experienced.
Now you're going to start a new one with another one.
Yeah. So just pass it to her. Not too much investigations. Let it be whatever transpired between the mom and the dad. They did their business, and it didn't sell out well. That is fine.
Anyway, thank you very much, sir. I think next week what I will request we do, we will. I have about 2 other stories that I think is actually good. I'm hoping that the sister is listening. We managed to make sense. I managed to make sense of her yesterday, but I just thought to bring it up, maybe for the benefit of someone. You never know who else might be having dealing with something similar, and they could benefit with hearing this. Because I think we enter into relationship space, and I believe often we tend to look at the other person. But I say, when you switch focus to you, it's important to switch focus to you, and to you for what? You understanding that you are the work that needs to be done. You are the work that needs to be complete. You are the work that needs to be developed. If everyone has that mindset, then the truth is it could only be a portal, or it could only be a space of absolute bliss, because the focus is just on giving your best into that united shared entity, shared awareness, whatever you want to call it. And we giving, or you offering the other human being the you to use to grow in the way that they also need to grow, because relationships are the training point for they are the training crucibles for life. See, so it's just that, and that's why I say, I always tell people that there's nothing like a failed relationship. There's nothing like a failed marriage. If you understand that everything plays a part. It only becomes a disadvantage when you don't learn what is in it, or what has been innate for you, the lessons that are being handed to you, the lessons that are being passed on to you, the lessons that the universe is using that particular relationship to pass to you, to grow you, to nurture you, to grow you into the you. That is what it's about. And when we miss it, we tend to get angry, get upset, because we have not really put ourselves in a space where we could see the benefit that it offered us to develop certain aspects of us which happened even at the blind side of us. See? So I was saying earlier on in the week that everything in life has got something to teach us, just that sometimes the lesson is that we are negligent and we are not paying attention. See? Or we are careless. I don't want to say we are stupid, see, but sometimes that's what we are seemingly stupid, or too dull of ear that we don't pick the lessons to further enhance or further make our love better. So it's just one of those things. Yeah. So God richly bless us. I want us to briefly pray. I want us to briefly pray. You can close your eyes if you want. Or if you are in a space that you are able to. And as you close your eyes, what do you see? What do you see behind the stories you're trying to, or the thoughts you're trying to superimpose on your mind as it stands? Whatever you see, keep observing. And just allow yourself to sink into that serenity. Even as you are absorbed into the oneness that you can never be separated from. Just keep observing. And as you're observing, allow yourself to feel the subtle sensations in your glorious body temple. Is it tingling you're feeling? Is it numbness? Is it numbness? Is there an ache? Is there pain? Is there calm? Are you feeling relaxed? Is there any tension in any part of your body? Allow the sensation to hit your awareness. And which of these sensations is most pronounced in your perception? Now listen for what it's communicating to you. And from that particular place, begin to feel entry of light. As it passes through a prism. Flooding and lightening up your entire being. Feel it. Now begin to declare your oneness. With all things. The breath that we share. the radiance, the vibrance of the sun that we experience. Regardless creed, race, or color, our hearts beat the same way. Our lungs work the same way. When you experience a cut of a vessel, blood comes out the same way. And in that state, I want you to experience your letting go. Anything that holds you bound, anything that is holding you in a space of conformity, in an atmosphere or an environment of conformity. Anything that gets in the way of your fullest expression of liberty. Experience the letting go of this. See yourself as a feather, being carried with the sail of the wind. Nothing burdening, nothing restraining. Absolute freedom and liberty. Love is who you are. Freedom is what you have attained. Now I need to give thanks for the fulfillment all desires. For being aligned with a cause that is higher than you could ever contemplate. For the invasion of ideas, desires that spell the transforming and the revolutionary good of all humanity. Call it so. Amen.
Amen.
Hello, my life to us. Be on the line tomorrow morning. Sharing the fellowship of prayer. For those of you who are Lenten, I believe that your Lent is going on well. Like, I know you claim you're doing Lent, but you're